What's up? I'm Drew Paul Bell, and today I want to talk about a question that we got from one of our friends named Prashana. She has just finished her first year of architecture school, and she doesn't really want to do architecture. She hadn't done a lot of research about what it really was before she got into it, and now her family is pressuring her to continue doing this. She says that she wants to be an accountant, and her parents want her to finish out an architecture degree and then go get a master's in accounting or an MBA or something like that. Just number one, I would say that you're telling yourself that you say, I am mature, serious, and stiff. And listen, everybody identifies with something. Everybody tells themselves stories about who they are, right? People tell themselves that they don't dance. They tell themselves that they listen to this kind of music. They're like, we are this kind of people and we do these things and we don't do those other things over there. And everyone's got their little circle of things that they do, things that they say that they are. People identify with their religions, their nationalities, their skin color, their jobs, anything, okay? And this kind of like left brain, right brain association is very prevalent and very meaningful in this discussion that we have here, right, about architecture. Because a lot of people come into this thinking that they're one way and that they're not the other way. If you're worried that you're stiff and too mature, I think that architecture is a fine place to try to overcome that, if you want to. And by the way, you don't have to want to. Some people are totally fine being that way and they really enjoy life going through and just crunching numbers. And there are people who are meant to be accountants, and that's awesome. I am not one of those people, and I have no desire to do accounting. But if this really is you and this really is who you want to be, by all means, go do that. But before even getting into the rest of this question, I would challenge you, as well as anyone else out there watching this, to be careful about the labels you put on yourself. If you're going to call yourself stiff and mature, if you're using that as a limiting descriptor, then you're really limiting yourself. And there was once upon a time where you chose to put that label on you. You could put a different label on you. Really be intentional about the stories you tell yourself about who you are, because you can be whoever you want to be. And this takes us into the next part of this question. You're concerned about your parents. Here's the thing. You are living your life, and you know this. You're living your life, and you can't let your parents dictate moves like this. There's something to be said about compromising, about like, oh, where we're going to go eat dinner, or what are we going to do this afternoon, or what are we going to do on a holiday or vacation or whatever like that. But when it comes down to your life and your decision for your profession, with something that you're gonna have to live with for the rest of your life, there can't be compromises like that. You can't let someone else tell you what you're gonna do. And here's the thing, you might think that you're being nice right now, and you might think that you're even like avoiding the confrontation of telling your parents that you don't wanna do this. But what you're really doing is, you're planting the seed for resentment. If you don't handle this now, if you don't confront your parents now, or whoever it is that's making you major in architecture, which by the way, no one's making you. If you're doing it, you have chosen to do what someone else tells you to do. You could choose not to do that. But you are choosing to follow them. It is on you and it is your responsibility. And if you are doing what someone else tells you to do, then that seed of resentment is going to grow. And right now, you think you're being nice in the moment, and you think that you think that it's somehow honorable to do this, but what's going to happen is that is going to grow. That resentment is going to grow, and it's going to be like compounding interest, okay? And you're going to pull that out of the bank one day, and you're going to blow up and get really frustrated and really mad at somebody, okay? So, do you want to handle it now, or do you want to handle it later? Because it's going to have to be handled one day, or you're going to go through life missing out on the things you actually want to do because you've been wasting your time on somebody else's dream. I think it's important also to make the distinction though, right, that just because you don't want, like if you don't want to clean your room and your parents are telling you that you need to clean your room, or your parents are giving you good advice like, hey, keep track of your finances, and you're like, no, I don't want to do it, and I have to tell you now or I'm going to resent it later. No, shut up, like, don't do that. All right, there are things that are in the low key, in the moment to moment, that you do have to do even if you don't want to. But then there are big things that that you can't do. Okay, that it would destroy your soul in a way if you continue doing those things. And I really believe that deep down, everybody knows the difference. I think that if you were really honest with yourself and you really sat down and dealt with the tension of figuring that out, I think you would be able to figure that out. You would be able to discern the difference between the thing that you ought to stick to and battle through and accomplish even though it is difficult, and then the other thing that you really do not want to do, that is just not your calling and not for you. There's a difference between like just parading your way through something and battling your way through something and then kind of just practicing bleeding. You don't have to practice bleeding. So anyway, I hope this helps. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I will talk to you next time.